If your team disappeared for 24 hours straight, would your company still be able to run smooth, or would it start to get chaotic little by little? Let's talk about why I asked this question. I have worked with so many different organizations of all sizes, and I have noticed that many times they have a lot in common. And I also start with that question because it can expose weak systems within the company. If your entire workflow within your company depends on a few people being available 24/7, that's not a strength, but more so of a red flag. And it comes down to your company having the same operational mistakes over and over again. So I want to talk about the top 3 mistakes that I believe many organizations have. The first mistake is no documentation. Many times organizations, they operate on tribal knowledge where everything is in people's heads instead of on paper. That is the worst thing you can do. Like, think about if a new person was to come into the company and they're trying to learn their role and nothing is documented. Everything is in one person's head. That really can push back the timeline of a lot of things. Not only the transition for the new the 2 team members, to get acclimated into the role, but also just for the company in general. And then think about it. Let's just say the key player who has all the tribal knowledge, they get sick, they go on vacation, or maybe they even won a lottery and they took the first flight out. Guess what? All of the tribal knowledge has went with your key player. And so it's extremely important to document everything. Document your processes. I know that it could be tedious. I know it could be a pain in the butt sometimes. However, it is necessary. Not only that, but it's operational insurance to ensure that your company is working as smooth as possible with or without that key player that is still at your company. All right. And if you are in corporate, you probably already know this saying, but if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Mistake number 2, jumping into action with no operational clarity. Many times teams, they love moving fast because that's the speed of the game, right? And also it feels productive. However, when teams are moving with speed and they don't have any clarity, that could really cause chaos. And before everybody starts doing all of their things, you want to make sure that you are aligned with the basic information. Basic essentials such as 1, who is responsible for what? The second thing, what platforms are we actually using? Now, many times companies, they may have only one platform that they're using, which is fine. However, if there are a plethora of platforms that are being used, make sure you get that clarity up front so people aren't doing the work on one platform and then there's a misunderstanding and they have to switch to a different platform and undo all the work that they just did, right? That's like team member time wasted. And then the third thing is clarifying the basic of where is the central source of truth. For example, where are we storing all of this information in? A lot of times people work out of their laptops and they put things in their folders or their own, OneNote or Microsoft Word, whatever it is. That cannot be the central source of truth. The reason why is because then the rest of the team does not have visibility into what's happening. So you always want to make sure you're reiterating what the central source of truth is for your team. Because let's be honest, if roles, tools, and workflows are not defined up front, then confusion is bound to happen. It is guaranteed. Mistake number 3, underestimating how much coordination actually takes. People think that coordination is easy because the final result looks good. The meeting has happened, everybody is happy, it feels like things went smooth without hitch. The initiative gets delivered and it just feels so smooth. However, behind the scenes, there could be somebody that is juggling 20 different things with no safety net. Coordination is not just, send a Zoom link or just pick a date. It's so much more than that. Coordination is planning, scheduling, rescheduling, approvals, communication timelines, reminders, tracking updates, documentation, setting up technology. Like you get where I'm going, right? There is a lot of things that come into play when it comes to coordinating. And many times when there's one person juggling all of those things, it could slip through the cracks. And it's not because people are unskilled or untalented, but it's because there is not a system that's built in place to support them. You need to make sure that your team has smooth execution so that everything is going as smooth as possible and you're not burning out your team members. Okay? You don't want your team to quietly drown in the background, and your leader may think that everything is fine because it may not be. All right? Now, if you want more clarity around leadership, transitions, and the systems that help organizations run smoothly, please join my email list. I'm going to make sure that I put it in the comments and or the description, and I hope to hear from you soon. All right, bye.